Is there a word for like racist but against hot people? Because I think that's what I am.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes. Welcome to Bottle Episodes. My name is David Piccolomini.
I'm Daniel Crow. You might know me from Milan Fashion Week.
And this week we have a guest.
Abby Washuta. A little under the weather, but here. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. I'm glad you're powering through
The good
today.
news about being under the weather is you might finally lose those 2 pounds that let you fit into a dress.
Exactly.
God.
Okay, the show Bottle Episodes, we're talking about we talk about the pilot and the top-rated episode on IMDb of terrible television shows to see if they got any better. And this week we're covering The Beautiful Life, TBL.
Yep, terrible name.
Is that what the
I think
second
that's the official name.
TBL.
Yeah. Why TBL? Like,
That's just an abbreviation of The Beautiful Life.
no, I do understand that.
You were acting like you didn't understand that.
I would be like if it was like crime scene investigation CSI.
That's okay.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, but
It's CSI, and then underneath it says crime scene investigation.
Oh, TBL's in the
That's-
title?
yes, that's what I'm saying. It's
It's
that
duplicatively unnecessary, right?
that makes more sense because you say CSI, and then if you wanted to, you say CSI Miami and then you it's like crime scene investigation. In case you don't know what CSI is,
Actually, crime scene investigation is what Miami stands for. A lot of people know that.
crime. Okay, but yeah, but The Beautiful Life ... TBL because you only do the
word is colon.
colon.
dot.
Ellipses TBL. Like the colon, like the next one should be a different 3 letters.
It should be Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, no, that is really weird. I didn't realize that was the title. Yeah, that's okay. That explains so much, though. Do you know what I mean? Like about how bad the show is that the title is even makes no sense. It's like okay, yeah.
Actually, the second part stands for totally boring losers.
taking them down.
Yeah, they can handle it.
Yeah, that's true.
These
Okay.
good-looking, successful actors, they can be made fun of.
Agreed.
So, Abby, you like a lot of show like teen drama, kind of like hot people, fucking drama. Where does this show fall for you? By the way, the show, it's a bunch of models living together in a co-ed residence.
We already did this show, by the way.
What? Oh, yeah.
We did a very similar show. This is the second show we've covered about models living together in a co-ed apartment.
What was the other one?
We covered the British sitcom I Live with Models.
Oh, well titled.
Yeah.
This should also be called I Live with Models.
This is worse.
I hate I Live with Models. I like it more than this.
Oh, that's
yeah,
not a
for
lot.
sure. Okay, so Abby, how does this compare to other?
This is a new level of bad. Like, I do really like bad TV. This has very early CW vibes,
Yes.
like when they were just trying to find their footing and find shows. Like, I don't know if you guys as comics also imagine a future state where you'd like to write for a TV show.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't get your foot in the door. And it's because these writers are the ones getting the jobs. People write, this is so bad. I can't believe that people are being paid to write it. It's
Well,
like,
I think I know what happened. You saw who the creator is, right?
no.
Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, I did see he was executive producer on
he
it.
was
yeah.
one. I don't think he was the actual creator.
He's listed as a creator.
But,
I think the Iowa kid has got to be based on his life. I think he pitched him like, what if we make a show about my life?
it was probably one of those things where he had like there was a script already, and he's like, this is like close to my life.
Maybe.
Is that the story of his life? Did he get like
He's from the
discovered in a-
Midwest, and he started as a model.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
I'd imagine it's pretty similar.
Oh.
he just kind of fell into modeling, and then was a handsome guy that got lucky.
So good. I mean, I feel like these shows could be like, without very much effort, they could be so much better. Because it's like, it's the kind of bad you know you're pre-signing up for, and you want that bad when you turn it on.
I did not want this bad.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
But
you're not the target
you're
audience.
not the target audience. So like dummies like me are the target audience, and this was even hard for me to watch. This was I actually was thinking of like, and we don't have it, we can't do it now, but whatever. But like, there's a future state where it's so obvious like what's going to happen that we could have like a quiz show where it's like you queue up like a scene and it's like, you know, what's the premise? He says like the first 3 sentences and then guess what the next thing is he's going to say, and wait for it. Oh, and your dad's going to be so mad that you're here slutting around the city.
Yeah,
I was counting cliches in this show, that were parodied by Zoolander a decade before this. And there were a lot. They should have known better.
Yeah.
There are people unironically doing walk-offs in this show.
Did people ever do that in modeling? Is that like a thing you
I don't know. But they're doing it for dramatic purposes in this.
Right, but I wonder, like, because like dance-offs are a thing. Like, you have two people dance off against each other. You could have, I mean, joke-offs aren't really a thing.
Roast battles are.
Yeah, but that's so different. I mean, I guess, but it's the same. Like, is there a model version of it? It's like, who can give the better look? Or is it like, I'm getting paid millions of dollars, we don't need a walk-off?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, on the Tyra Banks modeling show, the reality modeling shows, they're always doing walk-offs. So I feel like maybe there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Walking seems like so easy, though, that I can't believe that it's like a thing that they spent like 20 minutes on the, like that episode.
That's
was
the
like,
B plot of an
that
episode.
was the B plot of an episode was just his walk. And she was like, men walk on 2 rails and women walk on 1.
And then when he quote unquote got it, he walked exactly the same as when he didn't get
I
it.
thought so too. But finally they were like, we can see the light in his eyes. He's hired. Amazing. He's a little short to be a model, if I'm honest, too. Like, he was shorter than her, and I was like, I'm gonna buy it.
I also, I thought like,
oh wait, there's a short model. I like this show.
When there's the scene where he's just discovered at the restaurant, I'm like, look, he's clearly a better looking guy than I am, but not strikingly to the point of get picked out of a crowd at a 5-star restaurant in New York where there are presumably 100 hot people
During
eating.
Fashion Week, where it's chock full of other actual models, and he's like, you, sir.
I love it. It's like finding a 6'2" guy to be the perfect football player. It's like, there were plenty of guys that were 6'2" there. What made this the guy?
Yeah.
This was the guy.
You got to pick one of them, I guess.
He has a really terrible line that I wish I could remember that he says to the guy who finds him before he finds him about like being, he's like about the waitress because he's mean to the waitress. He's like, I bet if you could walk a mile in her shoes, you'd think differently. And it's like somebody wrote that. Somebody probably with a MFA in creative writing was like, put that
Kutcher
down.
wrote that.
I do think a lot of this, like, because I don't expect these people to be great actors.
Right.
I don't mean that in like even like a shitty, like, this show is not a show. It's not Succession. It's not a show I'm tuning into for like incredibly nuanced acting, but it's so muted. The entire show itself, like, it needs the CW fun.
And it doesn't have it.
Can I just say, casting Corbin Bleu in your show is admitting defeat before it starts.
Which one's Corbin Bleu?
The one from High School Musical.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got you. Yeah.
Weirdly, he has like the second most translated Wikipedia article in the world.
How do you know that?
I remember reading an article about it a while ago.
Interesting.
There's just one obsessive Corbin Bleu fan that keeps translating his article into new language. It's Barack Obama and then Corbin Bleu. Maybe this has changed in like the year since I read this. But at one point, there was an obsessive Corbin Bleu fan. Probably Corbin Bleu was doing that.
It was Corbin Bleu.
He's like,
yeah.
if you go into ChatGPT and you put your Wikipedia page in it, it'll just translate it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's really
That'd be funny if it's just his manager being like, everybody in Estonia is going to know about Corbin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are really bad. Misha Barton is also particularly bad. I mean, she's so pretty, but it's like, is there no one? This is the same thing with the writing. Like, there's no one who's also simultaneously pretty and like hair better. There's like a scene where she throws a vase against the wall 'cause she's so mad, and she's so mad that she throws the vase, but she can't even like work up the mess. She's like, and just like casually, like she could barely. I mean, she's very thin, so
To
it's
be
hard
fair,
for her
they're
to lift it.
models. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be very funny if she threw the vase and hit the wall and didn't break.
Right.
That's like a great gag if that happens.
That would be like if this was like a children's hospital style show about modeling.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like, because the tone from that is like not that different, because nothing's funny, nothing's that serious.
You're right. That's so true.
Everything's
Like
so
the tone is almost it's just non-existent. Like, what is the show? It's not a dramedy. It's not really a drama. It's like the whole show reads like it is a spoof, but it's just 5-6 episodes of a spoof.
It feels like literally a modeling agency produced this show to give their clients their first acting roles and to see which ones had the goods. It's literally like a developmental league for models that want to act.
Mm.
And then Ben got to be in Younger. One of the main guys.
Which one?
Chris.
Oh, the head guy.
There's a couple people that went on to bigger things.
Billy
yeah.
Billy Magnuson
Yeah.
is in it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's very good.
He's great.
Yeah. He wasn't good in this, though. At
He
least
was
not
nothing.
that I saw.
He
nothing.
was probably learning how to act in this show. But also, Gal Gadot is in this.
She's actually pretty good.
Really? Because
That is.
I thought when I was watching
Was
this
that
show,
pushing it?
finally something that is at her level of acting ability.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what that was damning with faint praise. You were like, wow, Gal Gadot looks fantastic here. And it's like, you're right, in the bottom 25% of acting, Gal Gadot is king.
Totally.
Because when every other time I've seen her in a movie, she's being outacted by everyone around her.
Totally. So the only role she could play is a model teaching other models to walk, and that felt very like there was no stretch for her there, and she landed it nicely.
Congratulations, Gal, on being able to walk on film.
Gal,
Also,
are you hot? Do you know how to be hot professionally? Great. Just do that.
Elle McPherson's in it too, with like a really weird accent. She's doing it's like sometimes Eastern European. It's sometimes like, I don't know what the deal is, but they were like, just do the accent of an agent that would own a modeling agency. Like, it's very odd.
I would have gone Canadian. It would have been funny.
She looks awesome, but yeah.
Oh, you got to pick up your feet. Oh,
Yeah, totally.
Whoop, you're about, what's Canadian for pounds?
For kilograms.
Oh, you're about 2 kilos short of fitting in that dress there.
Don't you know? Also,
You're walking like a total hoser.
What do you think makes people like Elle McPherson come out of retirement essentially to do something so bad? Do you know what I mean? Like,
She probably wasn't making money in years at that point.
but she's like, she must be rich, right? She's like so Elle McPherson.
A
She's
lot
so,
of people make money and don't invest well.
Yeah,
Also,
I guess
wait,
so.
Hold on. I was trying to play it cool, but I
You don't know who Elle McPherson is?
who like, and
She
I
was a
looked
big
up.
supermodel in the 90s.
She was a supermodel. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more
She
sense.
was like
then.
Cindy Crawford era. Like she
Gotcha.
was huge.
Yeah. But also those models got fucked over with exposure. Like unless you were doing brand deals and other things, like the actual modeling stuff. And then if you didn't invest, like obviously it would pay well,
Right.
It would pay enough to live but if you're living an expansive life already,
Yeah,
a
maybe.
supermodel is different from like an actor or a musician. It's much more like an athlete. You have a limited amount of time you can make that money,
Right.
and it can go away very quick. I would imagine it's pretty similar to the stories of how 70% of professional athletes just go broke pretty quickly once they're done.
Now I'm going to get in a rabbit hole about Elle McPherson's finances and see if that's why she ended up here. Because I'm like,
If she agreed to do this, they're not great.
yeah, I guess that must be the.
this
must
was
be
her
the
last
case.
acting role.
It was her last one.
Yeah, and then she was but right after that, she learned that she should be producing it. She was an EP on Britain's Next Top Model for 40 episodes.
Oh, that seems more up her alley.
So that's probably that probably went much better. Oh, and she's been herself in a million things too, obviously. So I'm sure that works fine.
I'm sure it's great. I also really find it hilarious when shows, all shows, I don't know why, cast, especially like the younger the actor is supposed to be, the more unreasonably old. The younger the character is supposed to be, the more unreasonably old the actor is.
Yeah.
And there's one scene where the blonde girl who's the lead is like, I'm 16. That's like, girl,
Oh,
she must be 25.
Yeah, she's doing that because she's trying to blackmail a guy that's trying to sleep with her.
But she is 16 in the show?
I don't know. I thought she was joking at the time. That's how not 16 she looks.
Oh.
No, I think it was real. I think she was trying to be like, well, you just tried to seduce a 16-year-old.
Yeah, I guess that was within the reality of the show. She must be, but I thought the next guy's line would be, haha, very funny.
Right, yeah.
Because she's so clearly
She's
mid-20s.
so clearly-
I looked up I tried to look up her age after that scene. It's nowhere online. She's managed to hide her age.
Really?
It's not on her
she's still
Wikipedia.
16.
What's
It's
her
not on her
name?
IMDb.
What's her actress name?
Yeah.
Her actress name. What's her real name?
What's her? I don't know. I did not look that up.
That is so funny.
But she's hidden her age successfully.
Of course.
So she could still play 16 when she's 40. I'd say she's the most fine actor in the show.
The most fine.
She's
like,
just
the most
completely
okay.
adequate. She's not
I
blowing me
actually-
away with
I
anything.
think the black British girl, whose name I also don't know.
Ashley Medek.
Yes, I think
Medicway.
she was the most fine.
She's not really given a lot to
She wasn't
do.
given a lot to work with,
Yeah.
but
No,
she was. I didn't like want to blow my brains out every time she was on screen. Which everybody else, you were just like, oh my god, this is so bad.
She's doing a certain type of I don't know what it's like. It's that sassy best friend role.
Yes, and when it's a sassy British best friend, it adds so
It
much.
does,
so
yeah.
many layers. She's
Do
like,
they have
"What?"
American best friends in British shows?
Ooh, Not from my experience.
It'd be weird if it was just like there was a rotation of nationalities. And in the UK, they just have like they've got sassy friends from Ghana or something. And then you go to Ghana and they've got like Koreans. And then you go to Korea. And every country has another country.
It's like a circle of fits type thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, if you align all the friends up properly, you get a college brochure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was a little bit something.
I think America just has a lot of different sassy friends.
Is there a show that's all sassy friends?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's called Happy Endings.
Oh, come on. I was setting you up there.
I love that show.
I was setting you up.
I love that
you
show.
ruined it. Come on, David.
That is such
I
an
teed it up
accurate.
for you.
Obviously, you guys have
For me to
talked
say
about
friends?
this.
Yes,
Yeah,
obviously.
no. Happy Endings is the better friends.
That was such an accurate. Yes, that's so true. But happy endings, they're all the sassy friend put together.
Yeah, it's like it's a happy end. Fuck this, the beautiful life. Happy Endings is a show where you take 6 of friends who should all have other friend groups that they're the fun one in, and
Yes.
you just put them all into one group.
That's so true. Oh my god,
I love it.
Great show.
Also, Daniel, you did set it up for me, and then I threw the ball into the audience.
It's a ground rule
Knocked
double
it
now. Way to go. Okay, I think we should probably say what the whole plot of this show is, because we've just sort of attacked the bones of it.
So, yeah, it's Fashion Week in New York City.
Yeah.
And that dude gets discovered.
Well, it starts off, we're focusing on the girls walking down the runway first.
Yeah. Because it's like, watch out, guys.
They're walking to, I think, MGMT,
Yeah.
which is weird. I never thought of it as a Fashion Week song.
2009. They're what's popular. It's CW. That's also why Corbin Blue's in this. High School Musical was like 06?
They
07?
definitely tried to get Zac Efron, but he was not available.
Well, I mean, listen, it's the CW. They'll get Corbin Blue. That's about...
Guys, you see how many Wikipedia articles this guy has? This thing's going to be a hit internationally.
Cast him.
I can't believe all of our casting directors are from obscure countries.
So it opens right on and it's blonde model girl's first day. What's her name? Raina.
I don't care.
Yeah, Sarah Paxton, Raina.
Raina. It's her like first day modeling ever, and something's wrong with her outfit. At one point, when they're like, he doesn't let her get out, like the fashion designer, and he's like, we can't work with this, and he's like, take her collar off and make it a belt.
Yeah,
because that's how thin they are. That your collar could just become a belt. He's like, oh, it's got to change. And then she walks out, and she dazzles everybody with her ability to spin. And the audience gives her a standing ovation.
A lot of focus on the feet. Guest director Quentin Tarantino for that scene.
She gets a standing ovation because her little twirl was so epic.
Perfect. Yeah, that is the other problem is like modeling is all about being like as minimal as possible to a degree. Like you're letting the clothes speak. And like, so if you're focusing on people whose whole goal is being a vessel, it's really... You really have to add some humanity to them.
Right. That's so true. Yeah, because the show is all about people who are completely flat and personalityless. And that shows.
Like if you do a show about acting, it's like very difficult to hit that balance of like making, because it has to be the intensity of it's going on right now and there's something dangerous happening with it. And if acting was all just people walking, I feel like that's actually the issue.
Yeah.
It's just walking. There's no action.
But then Misha Barton is on her way to the show. She's apparently like a very famous model.
And she's late.
She's been gone for 6 months. She's
mysterious. Very late.
Yeah. She arrives late.
They're like drugs?
And they try to give her a dress, and she's too fat.
By 2 pounds.
2 pounds. Suck in your stomach. What are you doing?
That was with sucking in her stomach.
All right.
They count that in with the sucking in your stomach amount.
But it turns out, we find out later that the weight gain was not rehab. It was that she had a baby who she's like left behind with her parents.
I'm fairly certain you're allowed to have a baby and still be a model.
Oh,
no, but
definitely not. No, I would say no.
Well, it's also that it's like a secret baby.
Oh, it's a secret baby too. Yeah. It's the baby.
Secret Asian baby. Sorry.
Secret baby. Asian baby. And it is Asian baby because
Yeah.
the baby daddy is her agent, Elle Macpherson's husband, which just seems like a poor strategy.
I think he also works at the agency
Yeah.
in some way.
Do not bite the hand that feeds you, and certainly don't fuck his husband. You know what I mean? Like,
But that's the drama.
that's the drama.
That's the drama.
That's the
You're
thing.
right,
Like all the dramatic things are like the first thing you would think of. When you're like, what's the conflict? And that's just the most obvious idea. Literally, the second scene in this first episode, we meet our male lead, who is on vacation from Iowa with his family.
And his
how do you
dad
know?
is a jerk.
His dad gets the bill at this restaurant they went to, and he says, "Ugh, I'm going to be paying off this little family vacation for the next 3 harvests." Very clunky line.
It is.
Very, you know how people talk.
You know. I assume that is how farmers talk. They're always dropping everything in the context of harvest.
And then he rides out of the restaurant on a tractor.
He's like, "Are you guys going to make it to the movie tonight?" He's like, "I'm about 2 harvests behind in terms of."
Hell, I'll bring a pig back there, cook it for you.
And then he's going to stiff the waitress on a tip.
Because
He's a bad guy, but
he's a bad
thankfully
guy.
our lead is a good guy.
Mhm.
Old
He goes
Chris.
and gives the waitress a tip. He's like, "Hey." And I think he hands her literally like $3. It's
There's more where
not
that
a lot.
came from.
We see he's not giving her much.
He's got
Hey,
that-
back
he's
in
got
the day,
potato
that was a lot
money.
more money. 2009, it was worth $3.
Yeah.
Get you a whole beer in New York City.
Yeah, that's true. And then he's so good looking that guy can't let him walk out of the restaurant without being like, "You, sir, come back to my apartment.
I'm
You-
trying to fuck you.
I'm trying to fuck you." And he's like, "No way. This guy just thinks I'm awesome." Wouldn't you guys just immediately assume that if someone invites you back to their apartment and it's modeling related, that you're going to have to suck someone's dick
Okay,
along the
I
way?
would assume for me that it was a prank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You would
this is
immediately be like,
clearly
"I got to
not a
suck someone's dick
modeling.
here."
I do like the idea if they were like, we're looking for the slovenliest man available. You're perfect.
Someone does need a model for big and tall stores. It's a pretty accurate representation of their customer base
That is, I mean,
with extra room for scratching. It's like,
it's just you in a bear suit rubbing
Yeah.
up against a tree.
Yeah.
You're perfect.
I assume big and tall just models their clothes like on potato sacks. I don't think they get models.
Big and Tall has models. I'm sure.
I'm allowed to make this joke. You can't object to it.
If Big and Tall is listening to this, Daniel Crow is available right now.
No,
tall-
hey,
how-
big and tall, I won't work for you.
How big and tall are you? How tall are you?
6'1.5".
Oh.
Not tall enough.
Yeah,
I don't think
probably
that's tall
not.
enough for Big and Tall.
Big
No.
enough though. Big enough.
No, it doesn't
Big
seem like it.
enough.
Big
I don't know.
enough.
I don't know that you're big enough. I feel like Big and Tall.
Big
is
boy.
big. I feel like you have to be like a triple XL to start at Big and Tall.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. I'm not saying you can't get there. I'm just saying I don't know that you're ready yet.
I do like the credent. I like the idea of Big and Tall has like the roller coaster thing next to it. It's like, sorry, you're not big or tall enough. Sorry, you're tall enough, Beanpole, but not big enough. Get out of here.
I think every store should slightly insult their clientele in their name. I think they should all be like that.
Like Forever 21 just be called Skinny and Stupid, or
Yep.
like, you know, I think that would be fun.
Forever 21, stop shopping here if you're 30, please.
It's not called Forever 31, bitch. Get
I'm just
out.
imagining some like compulsive blackjack player walking into Forever 21 being like, "What's this all about? This is not what I signed up for."
A blackjack player that only wears Forever 21
Yeah.
is a really funny character. It's a chase joke, honestly. We'll cut that out. Okay. Anyway, so then more of this episode happens. They're
So
like,
then it's pretty much the rest of the episode is our main female lead taking our male lead around to all of his first day modeling things.
They're called go-sees.
I
if you're in the
refuse to
biz.
say that.
Go-sees. And he's like, "What's a go-see?" It's like, well, it's right in the name. I mean, you go. and
It's
you
an
see.
internet shock image from the early 2000s. Not a reference I thought I was going to make on this podcast, but here we are.
so yeah,
She is 16, by the way, and has only been in the city for like a week, but she definitely knows her way around.
That's
She's pretty
why I'm like,
confident.
she's not 16. She's very confident navigating New York before having maps on her phone.
Yeah, that was before maps. How did people?
It was
get
not,
around
by the way.
before
This
maps?
was iPhones were readily available at the time. Just no one in the show has it. CW doesn't have
This
iPhone
is 2009.
budget.
It came out.
yeah.
I feel like 2010 was like when iPhones were like really popular.
iPhones would have come out a couple years before this, and I feel like models would have had them.
Did you have an iPhone by then?
Yeah. I
By
went to
2009?
I went to private school.
Oh, damn. All right, Daniel Craig got money like that. I feel like I didn't start seeing them till 2010. I feel like I remember the trip I was on with girlfriends where my friend pulled out her iPhone and I was like, whoa. Because I still had a BlackBerry at that point.
I never
People
had
in
an
the show
iPhone.
don't even have
2007.
Blackberries.
That is true. That is weird.
They just have flip phones.
Yeah, and iPhones, by the way, came out in 2007, so they would have had iPhones.
They would have been providing free iPhones to a lot of these characters so that they would like be photographed using them.
That's true.
Yeah. Like
It's like you can't even trust the plot of this show to be accurate.
Wait, no, by the end of 2009, iPhone models had been released on all major markets. So it might have just missed it by being like filmed in 2008.
The other thing that you're forgetting about iPhones were initially they were only for AT&T.
Really?
So yeah, when that was the deal, I think it was actually technically Singular, but then AT&T bought Singular.
Wow. Oh,
so
yeah,
I had
so
an
you
iPhone
couldn't
pre-relay
even
as well because I was just on that already. So if you were on Sprint or T-Mobile or whatever, it wasn't available for a few years.
Yeah, because the scene where the lead girl is like filming herself being molested by that agent, she uses like it's like a little Samsung-y.
Yeah, that was just the CW's budget at that
Yeah,
point.
they were like, this is all we have. Sorry, iPhones.
But this whole show does feel like proto Riverdale. Like if this show had 2 more seasons where like an occult demon was terrorizing the models, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm so on board for this show.
Then I could get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's just nothing. Every like dramatic twist is the most boring, middle of the road, like, and none of them are selling it at all. They're all taking it in stride. Like, there's
one dramatic twist where like there's a hot older woman with power in the modeling world, and Corbin Blue's like, I need to get jobs, and she'd be like, will you sleep with me? He's like, no way. He would have.
Of course he would.
He definitely would.
That's the only thing that's a twist about that, is that a hot young guy doesn't want to have sex with a hot young lady that's good, hot older lady that's going to get him jobs if she fucks him.
I mean, Corbin Blue, unless she insulted his Wikipedia pages earlier, is taking that deal.
Yeah.
I like the idea though that the character wouldn't, but Corbin Blue would.
Corbin Blue's calling Cut, be like, wait, is this a real offer?
I just feel like what man would not sleep with literally any woman just for any reason at all? And now this one's going to get you a job?
Usually it's being used. It's usually that's where the line is for a lot of dudes. They don't realize it's there until it happens.
Do you think, like, is there a level of like you would not have sex with a hot lady wants to have sex with you and
I get a job out of it? Oh, yeah. No, but see, one, you should never use me as the barometer.
Okay.
I'm pretty slutty.
The thing is, I don't consider that any character in this show was introspective enough to ever consider if they felt right doing that.
But that's the thing, is like, because they're doing a morality, because it's weird for that to be the morality play portion of the like, he won't sleep with an older woman who's using her power. It's like,
why?
Yeah, you have a show where the guy had a baby with his star model. Like, what is like...
Right, and they're like throwing off the stage because you're 2 pounds overweight. But you think most guys would not be sleeping with a hot lady?
No,
I think every guy in this show would have been. It didn't ring true.
I think a lot of guys would, but I would say if you're asking where the line is, I think it's literally at like some guys start feeling like they're being used, or like, and like it eventually it'll wear on. Actually, you know what though? They'll still sleep with them first usually.
Yeah, I get.
It's usually it's hot.
Guys.
Yeah,
I feel like what like.
Wouldn't
you love to be used? You're going to get a great comedy gig and you got to fuck a hot lady. You're saying no? Because you're like, I feel used.
Daniel, this is actually the weirdest podcast for people. He's ace and I'm a polyamorous slut. So like, this is
you're
like
asexual?
Together we're a normal person. Yeah.
You're okay. Yeah. I see.
So if you combine us together, we might be like, yeah, I guess I'll sleep with you
if
for
Corbin
a spot.
Blue was offering me career advancement,
you would do it.
Only for Corbin, yeah.
For Corbin, not for that hot lady.
No, just for Corbin.
Just for Corbin. Okay, got you.
Corbin, call me.
Corbin, he'll blue you.
I love it. Okay, I didn't realize that. You're asexual and you're poly?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a podcast about that?
No, we have this. You're on our podcast.
I'm just saying, this is interesting, but I really want to hear about your poly versus asexual. Like, I don't want to change your whole podcast.
What would we talk about? David just being like hooked up with another 3 ladies today, and me going, cool, watched more Jeopardy. Just for
I
an
don't know.
hour.
I guess I have a lot of questions. All right, sorry, focus.
Feel free to ask him because I'm happy not talking about this show.
That's how bad this show is that like any topic is more exciting than this show.
It's
like
funny because like, yeah, a lot of the shows we watch are like entertaining bad, but there are some of them that are like truly like it's impressive it made it to air.
Yeah,
like
I
this
feel
show,
like that's this one.
this show just can't be on the CW. If it should really kind of be a pretty seedy show, but the CW is they're gonna shave off all the edges. Anything that makes it interesting.
This should just be on CBS where they can pretend, where people can fall asleep to it.
Yeah, I mean, I almost fell asleep to it.
Yeah, so in the scale of bad shows you review on this podcast, this is up there.
This is
It's
one
not
of the worst.
morally repugnant, at least.
That's
true.
We've done some that are morally bad.
Yeah, this one's just technically bad.
It's just boring.
This
and
one
boring.
Is,
yeah,
This one's like it's bad on most technical levels. I would say is the
Yeah. I mean, I watch shows about vampires. You know what I mean? Like I'm hardly but like, you're interested. What's going to happen with this? Like
Vampire Diaries is great.
It's great. Like I ended this episode and I was like, I don't care what happens to anybody here. And also they didn't set up anything in the pilot to even for you to come back and care. Episode 2, what was going to happen? It was like they almost resolved everything in the
They
pilot.
actually
Like you sort of
do
knew,
leave it a little open because the male model punches his agent.
and then gets a job out of it.
He gets the job, so they're like, whoa, how's that going to play out?
Yes.
He's made a big enemy.
So you're like, I can't wait to tune in and find out.
And that's how it ends.
And now he has a job. Another one.
And then it gets canceled after 2 episodes.
5.
No.
Oh, it gets canceled after 2. You're right.
It gets canceled after 2. And then I learned this from the IMDb trivia. One of my favorite IMDb trivias I've ever read, which was after it was canceled, the producers made a deal to put the rest of the episodes on YouTube, which you don't need to make a deal to do.
I was going to say.
It's completely free. It was 2009. YouTube wasn't making original programming. You weren't going to strike a deal with YouTube to have them pay to put the show on there. You just put it on there.
Who do they make a deal with?
It's not clear.
No, you have to make a deal with the studio.
You think the studio was like...
Because they canceled it and they still owned it.
Yeah, I guess.
So what happened is fucking whatever the fuck his name is,
Ashton Kutcher.
I'm going to call him Aaron for some reason. Ashton Kutcher came in and was like, guys, I'm looking at the numbers. This show is popular.
And I'm like, am I being punked?
And was it popular?
This is
People were
not
tuning in?
popular.
Well, no, so he was like, we got to put it on YouTube, which here's the thing is that's the kind of gambit that if it works is great. It's like, I'll prove to you that the show gets numbers. We'll put it on YouTube. And then it's still on YouTube as...
And after 14 years, they broke 1 million views.
Yep.
Did they break 1 million views?
After 14 years.
1 million views.
Less than 100,000 a year.
I mean, that's like better than my page by a lot.
You're not a television show. Gal Gadot is not on your page.
That's true.
Ashton Kutcher did not produce your YouTube page.
That's true. That's true. It's really bad.
also
I wonder how many people just hate watched it too. Like, do you think anyone's really tuning? I didn't read the comments.
I don't even think anyone would muster the willingness to hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it because I had to watch it. But if you watched it willingly, you would just be like, no interest.
Yeah, I think I rewatched the show twice.
Oh.
Well, I rewatched it. I rewatched it once. I watched it twice because I put it on at double speed because I was like, we had
double speed
because we had to talk about it, and I was like,
I gotta get through this. Yeah.
no, well, I watched it the one time, and then I was like, we're gonna have to talk about this, and I was like, what happened?
'Cause nothing happens. Yeah.
I think I watched too much TV, so my brain just like skipped all the parts it recognized.
They're long
Yeah.
episodes too. They're like 45 minutes, which is like also a weird length for.
It,
Yeah, it's like
did,
40.
feel like being Adam Sandler and Click watching this show. Just skipped the
Just
points
on
about that.
autopilot. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the episode, don't forget to rate and review and subscribe to the podcast. Also follow us on Instagram, me at DPIC Comedy, Daniel at Daniel F. Crow, and Abby Washuta at Abby Dubs Insta. And follow me on TikTok at LitGrandma69. Go check out Abby has a show every third Thursday at New York Comedy Club. Tickets are available off of her Instagram. And you can check out my comedy special, Goblin King, on YouTube. Also, I'm putting clips on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So go check those out too. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. And keep listening to the episode. I'll stop talking. It'll make it easier to do that. Let's talk about the 5th episode, because that was the bottle episode.
I'd say 2 things happen in this episode. One, Gal Gadot teaches the guy to walk.
Yep.
and then the female lead pretends to have a relationship with the other guy.
Yep.
And they have a billboard that's in Times Square that's scandalous, but they won't show us.
Why don't they show us? I was so annoyed by that.
Because they can't show anything on CW that would actually be scandalous.
Right.
They can't afford to put up a billboard in Times Square
And
for
it was
the
before
show.
you could CGI the billboard.
You probably could CGI the billboard, but it would look terrible.
Yeah.
And I was really rooting for them to show it because I was like, this is going to be terrible CGI and it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
But instead, we just get a shot of a bunch of people looking at it.
Yeah.
And we never. There's photographers taking pictures of
them,
but not the billboard.
You're going to tell your grandchildren about this moment.
Hey, remember when your grandma and grandpa had a sexy Times Square billboard?
Yeah, like, what do you, like, I had a billboard in Times Square.
When was the last time you heard anyone care about a billboard in Times Square?
Oh, Jeremy Allen White or whatever, the guy from Shameless and also The Bear.
He had a billboard?
Yeah, it was like broke the internet when he like had his Calvin Klein
Did
underwear
people
ad.
care about the fact that it was a Times Square billboard, or did they see things online?
I think they cared about it. It was like a Times Square one. It was kind of like it was he was gorgeous. But
like
that was
Times
the last
Square,
time.
they'll still do announcements and stuff. Although I had friends recently who were at the New York Fringe, and they're like, a billboard with all of our things on it. It is still like a billboard in Times Square is like a thing that is so achievable now, but is like still considered. Like,
How much does it cost?
I don't know. I forget it, but I was looking. It's like one of those things where it's like you could get your billboard, you could get your face up here for a minute for like $1,000.
Should we try to do one for this podcast to see
Yeah.
if we can get our faces on?
Patreon.
Patreon.
Final episode.
If you
Just a
guys
permanent Times Square billboard.
Guys, we're
Donate
starting the
enough money.
Patreon for this episode. We want a billboard in Times Square, and we're going to use the money to start a second podcast where David and I talk about how he's poly and I'm asexual.
Yeah, no, now that
pod.
you say that, it would be tough to think of what to talk about on that podcast. But I feel like I don't know. It seems
It
like
would just be David talking to me about sex and me going gross for the whole time.
Yeah, it would a lot of it.
Let's do a test pod right now.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
David, how's your week been?
It was pretty good. Well, actually, this week I did not have. I did have sex. Never mind. I did have sex. It was with my
Gross.
girlfriend though.
Gross. Are we having fun yet, everybody?
Yeah, my grandmom died this week, so I wasn't.
Gross.
I'm sorry.
It's sad, but it's okay. I don't
understand.
know how to like.
no,
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
It's like they get to be a certain age
It's
here.
good for you because now you can go to the funeral and find more ladies to hook up with at the funeral.
Fine. Are you related to me? Yep. Moving on. Are you related to me?
Do you and your girlfriend have an open relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Do you-
she's married, so.
Okay,
That-
and her
Gross.
husband knows.
What? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gross.
That would be really funny if I was talking about it on this. How few people would listen to this podcast if I was like, "It's a secret relationship. Tell nobody."
Tell no one. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. Okay, that's cool. And then yeah, you're right. There's not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a good pod.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of. It's funny though. I will say this: Daniel's one of the people where it's horseshoe theory, where it wraps so far back around, where I feel comfortable almost talking to him about anything about sex
Oh, okay.
because there's no reference point, there's no frame for it.
Yeah.
in the same way, so it's almost scientific explanation.
David treats me like a parrot.
Yeah, I don't think you'll repeat what I say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, but if I talk to most normal people about sex stuff, that's a little more not advanced, but like gross or out there. The reactions to it are weirder
Right.
than someone with no frame point.
That makes sense because like the baseline is sex is gross anyway, and then like levels of it getting sort of
Grosser. It's
traditionally grosser. You're like it's all the same.
It's
all
It's
to
gross
me.
unless Lars von Trier's directing it. That's what I've always thought. In which case, it's art.
That's actually something we agree on. I don't think what I do is pretty. And that's why we've been petitioning Lars Van Trier to direct my sex tape.
Lars,
I love
come
it.
direct an episode of the pod. Can we get Lars in here?
Okay, so there is weird stuff where they almost set up like that's what I'm talking about though, is this episode had so many spots for blow-ups to happen, and then they all just kind of go, it's fine, we're all hot and beautiful, and move on. Like there are several points where there's like this weird tension of like it's not even a love triangle. It's like it's a love triangle with then Gal Gadot being like, hey, I might make this much easier for everybody.
Actually, I just realized something because this whole episode is like a way lower quality in terms of look than the pilot episode.
Oh, like physically speaking, like the
Yeah, and
cinematography.
presumably, I think once it went to YouTube, they didn't really finish post production.
Oh,
It doesn't look color corrected. all of the credits come up in a generic font that you would just get on Microsoft Word. And I just occurred to me
Somebody
that
was just doing it in their
they
basement, on Final Cut Pro, just like very.
Yeah, they may have intended to CGI billboard, but then when it went to YouTube, we're like, nah, forget it.
That's probably true.
Oh, yeah. You don't.
Cut.
They were like, hey, let's save every ounce of money that we can because when this show is a big hit on YouTube, we'll be able to use all our money from CW buying it back with our new leverage to color correct it.
Correct.
When it goes back on TV. And as you can see, Ashton Kutcher was right and has never made a mistake.
How many views does episode 5 have, I wonder?
It actually is like a weirdly similar amount. They all like just kind of have the same amount.
So everybody that started it finished it.
Like 900,000, 863,000, 749,000, 700,000. And then, and then episode, although we should have looked at the updates. I didn't realize there were so many updates on this page.
There's updates?
Yeah.
Let's hear them.
And so weirdly enough, episode 5, 900,000 views.
So they had good retention.
They had good retention. Yeah, people kept watching it. Let's bring it back, guys.
But the episode we watched, it's the last episode, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really have a closure.
There's no closure.
I'd like to bring on the pod the people who have watched all 5 episodes intentionally and liked it. Because I did see some comments where people were like, I can't believe they canceled this show. And it's like, are you looking at the same thing that I'm looking at? Like, how? I understand that people have different opinions, but like at a certain point, a fact is a fact. This is unbearable.
I saw a comment that was like, I keep coming back to it.
I know. Yeah.
What?
Well, some people also cut themselves. You can't really.
Some people are polyamorous. You never.
Yeah.
You never know what people are doing.
You never know what's gonna
teach his own.
Wet your whistle. By the way, the whistle in that is my mouth.
Gross.
So yeah, because that's the thing about this episode. There are so many moments for like tension. Like they go to the Times Square billboard and it's like, oh, and then they made out. But they made out after the person asked them to make out, but it was a little bit more than they should have. And then she goes to her friend being like, I feel bad. I kind of made out more than I should have. And she's like, who cares?
And then
you're hot. And she goes, you know what? Problem solved. That's fine. And then like she's hanging out with that dude again. And then he's like, I'm sad it's ending. And she's like, you know what? Me too. But no worries. I still have a hot boyfriend. Just every time when there should be energy and passion, there's just like people stating kind of a thing. And then they go, it's fine.
It's like anti-comedy, but in drama. It's an anti-drama.
It really is.
Oh, say more.
It's a new genre.
What is anti-comedy?
Like Tim
Neil
and Eric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like it's funny partially because it's not supposed to be. It's
you.
like, we're doing a weird thing, and then you do a weird thing 8 times, and people are laughing.
And people are laughing. Okay.
But this is like, honestly, we are getting so much more mad about this show.
The drama just comes from how angry you are that there isn't more drama. It's just all internal drama, and they just like stir you up to think it's going to be a thing, and then it's not a thing. I'd like to know, and I'll never watch the 2 or 3 middle episodes to find out, why did those 2 people have to get together to pretend to be a couple in order to get that photo shoot?
I think it's probably an accident where they get assumed to be together, and he's like,
no, it's in the first episode. She goes to the red carpet, and the guy's like, hey, we're supposed to pretend to be a couple here so people know who you are.
Oh.
He's already, I think, a famous model. So when they pretend to be a couple,
God, I forgot that part so quickly.
It helps her profile get raised.
Oh, so they're just doing that for the first 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed that.
To help people learn who she is.
But it's like, it's such that obviously where Gal Gadot is clearly like, it's like, well, she's going to tempt the other guy away, then they'll be free to fuck because now Gal Gadot is fucking the other guy. The whole Gal Gadot teaching him to walk, she like tries it, he like fails, and then they do it once in flirty in the apartment, and then like the other the fake couple comes in, they're like, wait, are you guys being a fake couple too? And they're like, nah, just kidding.
Are you guys walking together?
Can I go back? Something from the first episode that I just remembered.
Yeah.
When the male lead is having his first test photo shoot.
Oh yeah.
And he's a country boy, so the photographer says, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, I know.
And they play Sweet Home Alabama.
It's really
It is the most stereotypical thing I could ever imagine. I wish they had just gone through a bunch of stereotype photo shoots, just playing the most obvious song they could think of.
That is what the show, it is like, it's so 1-to-1 at every step. There's every step. It's easy to start skipping your brain to start skipping it because it's so predictable.
Iowa, he's from Iowa. He's not from Alabama. They're very different places.
Yeah, but all country music. I feel like AI could have done a better job writing this show by like a lot.
Well, it was 2008.
I don't think Allen Iverson would be a good writer at all.
It was 2008. He may have been able to put something together.
But then she whispers like sweet nothings in his ear about how he's like in a warm shower, and it changes his whole stilo. He's like completely not photogenic. He doesn't know how to be comfortable. He like is standing all weird when it's like time for him to do it. And then she's like, you're in a hot shower. And all of a sudden he's like fierce, looking at the camera, and it works instantaneously. And they're like, we found our model.
I think that's the other thing to remember is like modeling is like, it is a skill set. It is not that difficult.
He should have played the score from Field of Dreams instead of Sweet Home Alabama.
But that's why he was so bad. He needed his hometown music.
Yeah, she should have whispered in his ear. Imagine you've torn down a cornfield and you're building a baseball field in its place.
She does play a different song though to motivate him. But what's the song?
It's a very just generic song that I'd never heard in my life.
Imagine that your ghost sad's there to comfort you. Show that in your eyes.
Dude, okay, hear me out. Field of Dreams, but with models. They tear down the cornfield. They build a runway. All the dead models are there.
All the dead models are there. I would watch that.
Cindy Crawford.
Can you Field of Dreams any other show and movie? Does it work for every other thing?
Like, I mean, you could do it for any sports for sure. That's an easy one. Military? That's really
you tear down the cornfield, you build a military base, and then you do Full Metal Jacket. Like all the ghosts come to get yelled at by the ghost drill sergeant. Yeah.
Okay, but we do one in Vietnam.
Yeah, you can.
As a Vietnamese guy,
you tear down a cornfield, you build a bunch of pits filled with spikes.
A Vietnamese prison camp. Yeah.
And all these POWs come back and start getting.
And they can't escape. They're stuck there.
Field of Dreams, but in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, because there's no reason that they would have. There's no team in Iowa.
If you build it, they're forced to be here.
Like it was mostly guys from a Chicago team. That's not Iowa. It wasn't like they were bound to Iowa. This is just a magical realm where if you built anything, ghosts affiliated with that thing would arrive. Which is
just
kind of
that
crazy. Just that one cornfield.
That is a sketch waiting to be written, sir.
Yeah.
That is it.
So wait, okay, and then there's a weird thing where they're doing an interview as a couple, and they get their footing of how they're a cute couple, but then the phone goes on because she was supposed to call her boyfriend. He calls her, butt dials. Somehow she butt dials him in an interview
in her purse.
Yeah. So he overhears this like terrible conversation.
But it wasn't even that bad. It was like sometimes she puts on glasses and looks like Paris Hilton. Do the thing. That's all he hears.
Yeah. Well, by that, they thought it was the sex tape. He thought it was the sex tape that she was that 2000. That would have been on in this time. Paris Hilton's sex tape? Do you not know about
I don't know. I don't think that's what they were getting at. Why would they be reenacting a sex tape in front of reporters for a magazine?
Well, listen, as a polyamorous person, that's what we do. That's what we do all the time.
Make sex tapes just all day long.
Polyamory was illegal in 2009.
I know, I was in hiding.
Does Chris, the boyfriend, know that she's in a fake relationship, or is it like
he knows? He knows.
So
Everybody
then it's
knows.
even weirder that the butt dial upsets him because it's like they're having.
But it also didn't really upset him. They like talking. He's like, "Yeah, you butt dialed me." Anyway, it's cool
because it's an anti-drama.
It's an anti-drama. You're right.
Yeah. It's so because like Gal Gadot is like, did I make it? She's like, yeah, you made it. Only because I said I would also walk, and I'm super hot and talented. So they're like, we'll do both, I guess.
So right about the anti-drama because like even when Elle Macpherson finds out that her husband is leaving her for Misha Barton's character, she's still like, it's totally cool. I made sure she didn't leave the photo shoot, and like you and I are still good. So yeah, there every opportunity where they could be like dramatizing something, they're like, never mind, it's actually fine. We're dead inside. We're models. Do you know what I mean? We feel nothing. It's all totally cool.
That I didn't put my finger on it's literally just every chance they had to blow up their show. Like that, I've been working with this scriptwriting group, and like one of the things about it is like it's like just make it worse for your characters. Always make it worse for your characters. That's the best thing you can do.
But life is never truly bad for a model.
That's the moral of the story.
Until they're getting assaulted.
Right.
Even the assaults in this show are borderline fine. We saw people get assaulted. They left pretty okay. They went right back to a party.
Nobody is like affected by anything in this show. Maybe that's the moral of the show, is if you're hot, nothing will really affect you.
Yeah. I mean, look at Ashton Kutcher. He was in Dude, Where's My Car? It worked out for him.
It's a great movie.
I did love that movie when I was like 12.
It could be like a fun drinking game exercise to watch shows like this. And like every time they had an opportunity to dramatize something and then pulled it back to be like, no big deal, you take a shot, we would be wasted in 10 minutes. They're like, oh, there's a problem. She's cheating. It's cool. There's a problem. She's being molested. It's cool. There's a problem. Yeah. It's like,
people just keep giving ominous warnings for the future. It's like, he left me for cheating too, so it's going to happen to you.
Like in this universe, that guy that's like a sex offender molester just touches people's thigh lightly. He's a very mild molester.
He's a very mild molestation. It's not the.
And as soon as she's like, I'm out, he's like, that's fine. That's allowed. You can leave.
He's also very cool with his molestation being filmed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of. He's like, oh, do you want to watch it later? It's like, no, I'm going to take this to the police.
I think that's
and even then, he's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
No one cares about anything.
He's just in prison. Like, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
She's like, no, she's like, I'm not going to show it to the cops. I'm going to show it to my dad. He's like, who's your dad? And she's like, you don't want to know. He's like,
you better
all right.
You never find out.
If I don't want to know, you don't need to tell me. That's fine.
Cool. No further questions. And as far as I know, we never do find out who her dad is and why he's so scary.
Dude,
but he is
that
in prison.
was her dad.
He is in prison.
Yeah.
We do learn that like very quickly out of the gate that like they also do this great thing
oh
where
my God, her
like
dad's Phil Spector?
Yeah. Like they just out loud say all the other plot points to catch you up without any kind of whatever. They're just like, well, as you know, my dad has been in prison for 20 years for a crime that he did not commit. It's like, okay, I get, all right. So
I love saying that to my friends.
As you know.
Well, as you know, my dad, who has been sober for the past 4 years,
is now in prison.
Okay, let's wrap this up. So what we do at the end of the podcast, I realized I forgot to tell you, is we do one thing we improve about the show, one thing we think we could do to improve about the show, and then a different TV show that you just think is a good TV show that people should check out.
Got you. Who goes first?
Daniel, go ahead.
I want them to replace the male lead with Tim Robinson. Just doing his Tim Robinson thing, just really overacting every scene.
I'm trying to do this scene correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to model for you, but
you get it.
You can't put any country music on that I like.
Tell me I'm in the shower. It would make it an enjoyable watch for me.
I would love that. Yeah.
If I'm going to recommend something, so if you want to watch a show about people trying to make it in a competitive world full of like high-powered people at the top that don't really get it, but you don't want them to be hot, you want them to be nerds, watch Silicon Valley instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it kind of has a similar tone in terms of just people trying to make. Anyway, you get it.
I mean, yeah, that makes like Silicon Valley is what happens when things actually do go wrong.
Yeah.
Like every action in Silicon Valley leads to a new disaster. They think they're fixing something and it leads to a bigger disaster.
That comedy is a better drama than this drama.
Oh, without a doubt. All right, Abby, what would you?
So I think the only way I can imagine making the show better is if they changed it to be a show on like a telenovela on Univision, and they changed all the characters to Spanish-speaking actors because I think that they could.
I don't want to hear the song they would have picked for Spanish people. Just when he has to model the first time, like, oh no!
I think that like high intensity telenovela style acting could bring drama to this show that it's missing. I think they would be able to like slap each other over like who's having whose baby, and it would be more dramatic. And I think that would help. Also, it would help if you could not understand Spanish, because it would make the show less painful if you can't understand the dialogue, you'd be like, oh, this is better, and they could just like act it out. Show rec would be Under the Bridge is something I'm watching now, which is on Hulu. I'm a big fan of Based on a True Story.
Is that Elizabeth Moss?
No, although that looks really good too. This is Elvis's granddaughter. What is her name? Forget her name.
I don't
know. Riley Keough?
Yes, Riley
Keough.
Okay. It's basically about based on a true story about these like girls in Victoria, Canada that are like low key murdering other girls. And
how does one low key murder someone?
Well, it's like not clear. I'm only on episode 4 if like they've actually murdered this girl yet. But it seems like there's like a lot of bad girls in this town that are like in this like girls halfway house, and it's been like years of drama. But kids in this town are dying, and the girls might be killing them. Unsure, but it's very well done. And I love that it's based on a true story because like I don't know. Just makes you feel like you're learning.
Riley Keough's Elvis's granddaughter?
Yeah.
Oh, God. It just never stops.
Do you feel it's like an injustice you've experienced because of that?
Is she also in Under the Silver Lake? She's in a lot of things with Under the.
Is she in Under the Silver Lake?
I think she's the girl that Andrew Garfield's looking for the whole time.
Oh, really?
Wow.
She's in
well, her grandmom was under Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
No. Her grandma.
That's what I said. I changed it.
You said her mom.
I said mom, and then I went grandmom.
Okay.
Her mom, hopefully not under Elvis.
Hopefully not.
Anyway, how I'd fix the show. Let's see. For this show, I mean, honestly, replace. I think this show is really. This actually my recommendation and my suggestion are going to be the same, which is replace Misha Barton with Taraji P. Henderson. Or Henson?
Wait, why?
Okay, Taraji P. Henson. Because
this is in conjunction with Tim Robinson.
Ms. Henson, for what's about to happen.
Oh, no. You want because the problem is that you have Misha Barton who should be blowing up.
Right.
At every moment of the show.
Yeah.
She should be freaking out.
Right.
And she's not. Like the vase shouldn't have shattered. That's how bad. And so what you need is the person who made Empire so good.
I just want to note that she had been nominated for an Oscar a year before.
Misha Barton?
No, Taraji P. Henson. They're not getting her.
Oh, what was she?
Benjamin Button.
Oh, I forgot about.
They're not getting her.
I never saw Benjamin Button.
Whoa.
Is it?
It's fine.
Oh, I really like it.
Okay.
Do you know what you could do instead?
You're allowed to like it. It doesn't affect me.
You know
but I would have recommended Empire.
Okay, yeah.
What you could do instead of watching Benjamin Button is you could listen to Kumail Nanjiani's extended joke about the Benjamin Button
movie.
movie.
And he's in Silicon Valley.
So full circle.
Oh.
Yeah.